One of the most helpful features in Microsoft Word and in several other of the Microsoft Office programs is the spell checker. It is important, though, to understand a couple of its limitations and quirks because they can be frustrating to people who don't know them, and even experienced users don't always pick up on them. But the basic use of the feature is simple. We open a Word file like this one. We can click at the beginning of the text to make sure the program knows where to start. And then we go to the Review tab in the ribbon here, go to the Proofing group over on the left, and click the Spelling button, or use the drop-down to get to it in one or two of the latest versions. When we bring up the spell checker, we can simply click on Corrections over here, and we can see the spell checker will look for words not in the dictionary. It's important to understand the spell check doesn't actually look for words that are wrong. It looks for words that aren't in its standard dictionary. Usually, proper names are going to be the most flagged items, since they aren't always simple ones like Smith or Jones, and it's a good idea for the user to visually check carefully before clicking Add and letting a name go into the dictionary. It can be corrected later, but there are a few hoops to jump through if that happens. So here we would just correct the word volunteers, which should be spelled with two E's, interest, which here is missing an E. Again, volunteers, correct that. Volunteering, same problem, missing an E. The word sponsor should be spelled with two O's. And the fictional city here, Hagerstown, is not supposed to be spelled like Hagerstown, the real town in Maryland, with just an A, so we would tell the program ignore once. There's one other kind of shortcut available to us, which is worth mentioning. You can select a paragraph and then right-click, as I just did here, triple-click to select the paragraph, right-click, and Review Selection in Editor would allow us to do a grammar and spell check just within that paragraph if you just want to look at one particular chunk of the text. On the second page of the document, however, we do notice one little issue. There is a word here, the word constriction. It's a correct word in the wrong context, and the spell check didn't catch it because it's not a wrong word. It is in the dictionary, constriction, to narrow something down, as opposed to construction, to build something, which tells us that proofreading is still required. So the spell checker is not the be-all and end-all. Finally, one sort of non-feature to remember is that the spell check dictionary for one copy of Word on one computer doesn't always communicate with its counterpart on another computer. In fact, it can't do so at all. There are ways to cross-load that kind of information, but it doesn't happen automatically unless a volume install is done across a network. It will work with several of the other programs on the same computer, such as Excel or PowerPoint, but only on that one machine, and it won't work with the online Office apps, as they are not locally installed or connected.